Hello guys, this is Oroth and welcome back to my channel. In this video we're gonna take a look at a Demon Hunter PvP build. It's super strong, I've had great success with it and it took me to Legend. And what I'm gonna do is that I'm gonna show you the exact setup, but then we're also gonna take a look at a lot of gameplay where I explain how to play the build. Because only copying the setup itself will not take you far enough, because you have to play in a certain way in order for this build to work at all, otherwise you will have no success with it. So if you have time and if you're interested, I really urge you to watch at least some of the Battlegrounds games later on, where I also will talk about, like I said, why I do certain decisions, why do I choose to push and why do I choose to fall back, etc. We will also talk about some important concepts to think about when playing PvP. So with that being said, let's start by looking at the build, and we're going to start with the skills. And as primary attack we use crossbow shot, and in the first skill slot we use sentry, in the second skill slot we use strafe, in the third skill slot we use escape, and in the fourth skill slot we use vengeance. And if we take a look at the essences, I use Boar at the Door as the helmet, and this will give me a sentry that's untargetable. And this essence has also been buffed this recent patch, so they upped the damage by 40%. A very good essence in PvP, since it can't take damage. If we look at the chest slot, I use a new chest piece, and it says that during vengeance your sentry and knife trap summons fire piercing beams dealing damage. And the essence is called Drowning Embrace. And what happens now is that if I use the sentry here and then I use vengeance, you will see that the sentry will also start to shoot these piercing beams. And the attack speed is very high, so this will have a lot of damage output in Battlegrounds. If we look in the next shoulder slot here, I use Escalating Violence, and what it says is that escape now lunges forward, damaging and slowing enemies in its path. This I use for survivability, so when I need to fall back, I am sliding like this. So it's a very good essence for mobility and survivability. In the pants slot I use Ruinous Path, and what it says is that it increases all damage I deal by 11.4% and evasion rating by 11.4% whenever I use vengeance, so it's just a neat little damage buff. In the first main hand I use Turmoil, and what it does is that I do use the strafe summons, and whenever I put it out you can see that it also shoots these rockets, and that's thanks to the Turmoil essence. In the second main hand I use Unrelenting Furor, and this prolongs the duration of the strafe summons, and of course that also means I use Fallow Farm in the offhand slot, in the first offhand here, and yeah, this allows me to summon these strafe summons. And in the second offhand slot I use One's Own Fusillade. If I put down a sentry now, you can see when it attacks a target there's like a crossbow above the target. It means that I have placed a debuff, so it will take more damage from my attacks. So these are the essences. For the set pieces I use 4 pieces of Grace, and I use 4 pieces of Baron, because what is good with this build is that we are gonna apply a lot of dots thanks to the summons and my legendary gems, and we will take a look at them very soon. And then I want to have as long duration as possible on these dot effects, and the Grace will also do some extra damage, and more importantly it will interrupt the bandage whenever anyone tries to heal. So it's a very strong combination. And this leads us to the legendary gems. I use Seeping Bile. This is because it gives us a dot effect, and it also causes a slow effect on the target that it poisons. I also use Viper's Bite because it's another dot effect. I use Blood-Soaked Jade for some extra movement speed and damage. I use Igneous Scorn because this is another way to interrupt bandage, so it's a really annoying build to play against. I use Rolling Consequence. It's a very strong gem as it is, with a critical hit chance, but this also apply a dot effect. I use Bloody Reach just to get some extra damage. I use Mother's Lament to get some extra crit chance, and finally I use Everlasting Torment to just add another dot effect. So this build is revolving around both summons and dot effects. And if you look here on my Reforge, I have the summoner package, so I have damage done by my summons, beneficial effect duration, critical hit damage, skill damage, and primary attack damage. And let us also take a quick look at the Paragon I'm using. I used 5 activated effects here from the Gladiator. So I use Sheet Death from the old Gladiator 3, and then I use 4 of the champion effects here down to the right here. So it's a great combination of extra damage, but I also have this Sheet Death that will be helpful. And of course I also have a familiar with Savior on it. I chose to use the Ash Sweeper because I don't really feel I need a shield from the cat. I rather have the active skill from the Ash Sweeper. And this one I have at maximum resilience, so I have 60 seconds cooldown on this passive skill. So this is the basic setup of the build. Usually, previously I was using Smokescreen to hide inside to become invisible, but now I try to switch it out for this new chest piece. It will reduce my survivability a little bit, but if I play correctly it will not be an issue, and it will also grant me some extra DPS. So as I said, now we're gonna take a look at the gameplay, and I really urge you to watch carefully, not only on what I have to say, but also at what I do on the battlefield, how I position myself. I'm gonna try to explain it as good as I can, but this is key in order to make this build to work. So let's dive straight into it and watch some Battleground games. So in the first game here we are playing as defenders, and I always try to wait till the enemies are reaching this choke point, and then I'm gonna place down my summons. And I also activated Vengeance because now my sentries will be greatly buffed. And we can't really see it, but we are doing tons of damage out there. So what we have to do is that we constantly now have to look on the minimap up to the right. I am probably looking at the minimap 95% of the time when I'm playing, so I know exactly when I have to fall back, when it's okay to push forward. I also have to know where my teammates are. Like now, for example, I can see that I'm almost alone here now, so now I have to get ready to get back. I always keep moving all the time. I never stand still, because when I stand still it's easier to hit me with the crowd control, so I constantly have to keep moving. And now we have to fall back a little bit, and now we're gonna start defending the next choke point. And it's where they exit their spawn, and the key here is if I'm able to put down a lot of summons, they do tons of damage, and then I can just fall back myself if I need to. There I had to pivot to the other side because there was someone from behind. I saw a red dot coming on the map, so I couldn't fall back in that direction, so I had to slide over here. Otherwise I would get caught and probably be killed, because I'm quite squishy. Also, as you can see, I'm not using the primary attack at all. I do a lot of damage when I put down my summons. It might look like I'm standing back doing nothing. Quite often people are yelling at me and asking me what the hell are you doing, play the game. But that's exactly what I'm doing. I'm constantly putting pressure, and you can see now I'm alone here on the left side. Now they managed to activate the idol, but it's quite often that I'm able to poke them with my summons and avoid them from activating the idol, stalling even more time. So it's a very efficient build to do that with. And now we're able to kind of lock them in here. Now I'm falling back, I'm never engaging, I'm always trying to stay out of range. And if they hunt me, it's good. I often slide back even when I'm at almost full HP. And when I start running back, they think that I'm low on HP, but they will run into my summons and they will die. can also say, maybe you noticed, I don't know if you did, but sometimes there is enemies behind, and instead of falling back when I'm getting attacked, I push forward because maybe I have teammates further up that I can get some protection from. So yeah, not all the games look like this, of course, because sometimes the opposite team are able to push through, but quite often we are able to lock them down here. The summons are crazy strong here in this choke point. And remember, you don't have to stand close. I can put the summons down, I can run back far. I will keep doing damage and stay out of trouble. And that's my role. My role is not to stand on the idols. My role is to stay alive and keep doing damage to the enemy. And this is a mistake a lot of players are too often doing, and we're gonna see some games later on here where we will showcase why it's so important to play your role correctly and to not overextend and to die. So yeah, I'm gonna show you a little bit later in a different game. And the good thing here is in this meta we have a lot of classes that has immunity, they have shields and everything, and often with some classes you have skills that you time and you attack someone with it and you will hit them while they are immune, and then you will be on cooldown, and it's a huge issue. Take the monk for example. It's very difficult to play the monk right now because you don't have these continual damage effects that are constantly putting pressure. But if I use the summons here, I can put them down, and they will always continue to deal damage. So let's say that there's a Tempest, and he will not be able to take damage for 4 out of 5 seconds. The 5th second, I will deal a lot of damage to him, and often kill him. On top of that, I also apply these dots to all of the players, because the strafe summons, they are shooting everyone. It's like an AoE effect. And when I apply these dot effects, they can't heal up because I use the 4 pieces of grace. So it's a really annoying build to play against. And if I don't get the kill, I get tons of assists. And I force them to fall back because they can't outlast the damage output. So yeah, I mean, this game is not super exciting, but what I'm gonna do is that I'm gonna show you a whole session where I'm playing some battleground games instead of just picking out a few games that looks extra strong. I'm gonna show you like 5-6 consecutive games so that you can see different types of games, both how to play it when we can push them back like this, but also how to play it when we have to fall back a little bit more, and also when we are the attackers, of course. And yeah, I mean, if you think about it, we are able to dish out tons of damage. We are able to stay alive the whole game. We get tons of kills, tons of assists, we force them off the idols, and this is not against weaker opponents. I use a build here with 4.2k resonance, and it's working super well even against those with 7, 8 or 9k resonance. Of course, if you play against those with a lot high resonance, it's even more important to have great map awareness and to know your positioning where you are. And you will maybe not be able to carry the games, but it's often where you will do a lot of impact if you play this well. So always poke and fall back. And I know that this is not something that maybe everyone enjoys, but I think it's super fun, and yeah, like it's with every build. It's not for everyone, but it's very strong at least. And now we are jumping in here to the second game. It's also a defense game. And I'm trying to stay there in their spawn as long as I can, but then when it's getting a little bit too risky, I fall back and I switch to putting my summons down on this choke point instead. and there is no reason for me to stand close to the enemies. I just put down my summons and I fall back. A lot of people, when they try this build, I see them, they are still standing too close to the enemies. They are still trying to poke them with the primary attack, and that will only get you killed. And if you're killed, you can no longer apply pressure on the idols or on the enemies, so you will be of no use dead. And here it's very important, in this case, unfortunately now it looks like we get another game where we might lock them almost to their spawn. But now if they activate the other idol and start walking it, it's not a big problem. As long as we can keep stalling one of the idols, we're most likely gonna win. And what I can see, a mistake that a lot of people often do, is that they defend on both sides, but then when they start pushing one side, like now for example, you can see they started to push this side a little bit, then it's still important to stay here on the right side, to keep defending this idol, even if they walk the other idol halfway, because it's a lot easier to defend an idol when it's closer to our spawn, so we don't have to worry if they manage to push this other side half the way. And too often, around this point, if you look now on the minimap, there will be people starting to write in the chat, are you guys blind? You have to go to the left side, what are you doing? And then people start abandoning the right side and everyone runs to the left side. And then they start walking the right side for free. And this is not a good strategy, you have to keep defending. And you can see here also, when we manage to kill people, if I'm staying here, I can go and put summons in that choke point, and this will make it difficult for them to also reach the left idol. So instead of running from idol to idol, I always try to defend one idol as long as I can, and when that idol is clear, I try to move in front of it. And in the best situation, I'm also able to put pressure on that choke point, as I just told you. And here he's gonna trigger my gladiator. Maybe I will die here. Yeah, looks not good. Yeah. When you get caught, it's quite difficult. You will be caught by Tempest, so that's why you have to keep this safe distance. And you can see now, I died, and in an instant they managed to push the right side, almost just as far as they pushed the left side. So we spent so much time trying to avoid them reaching that far on the left side, and then I die and they managed to reach just as far on the right side in a matter of seconds. So you always have to look on the minimap and try to keep the balance. You can never leave one side undefended, because doesn't matter almost in every situation, except for a few situations maybe in the end of the game, you should never abandon one of the sides. You should keep defending it. And if you haven't noticed, I have been able to defend this side almost alone, only using the summons. I'm standing far away from the enemies, and you can see on the minimap they are trying to run to the idol, and then they turn back because they take too much damage. And yeah, it's very, very effective. And now I just there is no need for me to engage here. I can't win 1 versus 1 against the Tempest, so I fall back. I'm of no use dead, because now I can rejoin the fight. Now we have 2 minutes to go. I think this is a quite easy win now. So I put down some summons there just to see if I can kill someone, and yeah. Now in this situation, it's perfect to stand here in between these idols, because now I can defend both at the same time. Now I have to fall back because he's chasing me and I don't want to get caught. And this is the thing, I'm super squishy. So if I take damage, I will die. And this is the problem for some people when they play these builds, because they don't have great map awareness. They are looking too much on the battlefield instead of looking at the minimap. So they are standing too close to the battle, or they get caught by surprise, and then they get CC'd, and then they die in an instant. And then this happens a few times, and then the conclusion is that, okay, this build is useless, it won't work, but in reality it's because they don't play it correctly and they have to train on their map awareness. Yeah, so what I wanted to say, you can see there on the minimap there's like a hallway, a corridor there in the middle where you can move between the idols, and it's very optimal if both the idols are pushed almost halfway or a little bit further. If you can stand there in the middle, you can run from the right to the left and putting down summons wherever they are needed the most. And you can constantly count the red dots on the map, and you can see that, okay, now they are heading this direction, now they're heading this direction, and then you can plan accordingly on where you have to put down your summons and where you need to give some extra backup for your teammates. So yeah, my role here, as you can see, I'm a damage dealer, and if I'm able to stay alive and continue to deal damage to the enemies, I will help my teammates. But as soon as I'm gone, we lose a lot of firepower, and then they will be able to kill off my teammates as well, and then we might lose the game. So yeah, know your role. I know I already told you, but this is very important. Now we're gonna look at an offensive game. And here, if I can, I'm going up a little bit here, just to put down my summons, not too close, so I get caught in the crowd control. And when I run back, they often follow me, so they run straight into my summons, and I start picking them off, so that when my teammates arrive now, they are already retreating. I'm slowly monitoring my health bar here. That barb didn't do that much damage, so I could still stay there. And whenever I get the chance to heal, I try to do it. I see a lot of people complaining when people are healing at high HP, but if you can heal up 25% of your life, that's a good thing. So often I place down my summons and I go back and heal, and I will still continue to apply pressure even though I'm away from the battle healing. And this you can't do with most other builds. Now we're trying to push out of the choke point here, and in order to do so, I'm trying to put my summons down in front of this idol. Because then it's going to be more difficult for them to reach it. And yeah, we have successfully been able to push ourselves out of our spawn. And the same thing here, I'm not standing on the idols, waiting for the barbarians or the crusaders or the tempests to reach it. I'm trying to push as far in front as I can. And I start to apply pressure here on the barb, for example. So I triggered his undying rage, maybe 7 seconds before he reached the idol. So when he reached the idol, he will die a lot faster. But if we were gonna be standing on the idol, waiting for them to arrive, the barbarians could just run and stand on the idol, and they would stall it for 7 seconds longer. So the same thing here. I'm trying to push in front, put down my summons. And here you can see, if I would fall back in the other direction there, he could keep up with me and I would die. But now I went to the front instead, because I saw that there was no enemy there in the middle, and I also had one of my teammates there who could defend me. And that actually tricked him, because he kept running towards our spawn, because he thought I would be running that way. And by doing the way I did, I managed to survive. So always try to do the unexpected when you're trying to avoid getting killed. And once again here, the map awareness is super important, of course. I don't want to push myself. It's better if I'm here applying damage, because I'm one of those who makes the most DPS in this party or in this lobby. So it's better if I have a melee on the left side to push. And in the beginning we managed to push it very fast, but now we get stuck. And this is what I told you about earlier. The further you push the idol as offense, it's going to be more and more difficult to push, because when they are respawning, it's gonna be closer for them to reach the idols again. But we still have a lot of time, so we still have 3 minutes here. And as long as we keep pushing both sides, I think we're gonna win this one. And this is also an issue. Often you push both idols, and then all of a sudden when you're almost there, and maybe it's just a minute to go, then people think that, okay, it's only 1 minute to go. Now we have to go everyone on one side, one last push. But that's not the way to do it. And that's why I'm very happy about how we're performing in this game. If you look on the minimap, you can see that we are pushing on both sides. So if they try now to go everyone here, they will lose focus on the other side. But yeah, we managed to push it. So it's a well executed offensive game here we do. And not all the games look like this, of course. Sometimes it's a lot harder to get out of the initial spawn. Yeah, but this was a good one. So here we are once again in defense. I'm gonna wait here in the choke point if I'm able to. Sometimes I walk up here if I feel that it's safe, put down my summons here instead, and then I fall back. I don't go first. I don't want to get stunned unnecessarily by that red dot there on the map. And now we can just wait here and do this poke here. It's safe to put them down there where they will come. I'm falling back. And my summons will do a lot of damage. Here I could maybe have stayed inside their spawn a little bit longer. But yeah, let's focus on this choke point instead. And the summons are actually dealing damage through this barrier. So the rockets from the turmoil will go through the barrier and do damage. So that's good to know. Yeah, you can see no point in letting him catch me. I fall back and then I go back here to put more pressure. You can see now, as I told you, I heal up even though it's only 10%. There is no reason to not do so. I often see people, they run around with half HP and then they have a chance to heal, but instead they go and attack again. Then of course, I mean, imagine if you would play in PvP with 50% of your HP, of course it will not perform that well, so... putting them down as far in front, or I mean far enough so that I know that they will not be able to activate it, because it will poke anyone trying to activate the idol. And I already told you, I'm here on the right side now. I see no reason to go over to the left side. Even when this idol is empty, I'm still gonna stay here. Because the longer I am able to keep them from pushing this idol, the more likely it is that we're gonna win. I actually thought that my summon would avoid him activating the idol there, so it felt safe to walk back a little bit. Now he will trigger my cheat death here. And yeah, as soon as I get caught by a stun, it's often that I'm dying, so keep that in mind. Trying to push and put some summons in front of the idol. Fall back to heal. No need to stand close. Yeah, we're doing quite a good job so far. There I go back a little bit further because my summons are not ready. And also, I mean, I can see that there are 4 players there. I thought I could poke them with my summons and fall back again, but I got caught in a stun. That's also like if they are watching the minimap, they can see when I'm approaching and they can time their stuns by looking at the minimap. It's a lot easier compared to looking on the battlefield as well. So optimal now would be if I can get a hold here on the middle corridor, as I told you before. Now I'm in a huge trouble here. If I manage to put camp in that corridor, I can start to putting my summons down both left and right. It's very effective. You see now, he's chasing me, I'm running back. Maybe I can kill him, maybe not. They're actually managing to push here. I'm not playing well. Once again, I see that there are plenty of people on the idol, and I overextend, and they kill me immediately. And that's why this build is not easy to play, because one mistake and you're down, and it takes a lot of practice. So I know I told you already many times, but you have to watch the minimap. Map awareness is everything, and now we're actually in big trouble here. Because as soon as I'm dying, we will lose a lot of pressure on their guys, and we will not kill them off. They will kill us off instead. That's why it's so important. I already told you, but you have to play your role. I should never go and stand on the idol. You see how much damage I deal out there, even though I'm standing here? A lot of people, they just run out now and stand on the idol and try to stall it for half a second before they die. That's when you look at the stats after game. There's a lot of people who plays a DPS class, a ranged DPS class. They die 10 times, and why is that? It's because they are not playing their role as they should, and this has nothing to do with resonance. This has to do with your playstyle mostly. So now it's super close here. Will we make it? Now I actually go and stand on the idol here because I'm the only one here and I have Gladiator, and maybe I can save the game. I think I just did. Yes. So that was a win, but it was very close in the end. I thought we would lose actually. And you see, I mean, now I had Gladiator. It was the correct call, of course, to stand on the idol in that situation in the end. But there is too often that people do that all the time, and they are away from the game 50% of the time because they are dead. So this is not the way to play it. And so when people are writing in the chat that you have to fight on the idols, you have to die on the idols, this is not a good advice. You should not listen to them. And as I told you before, my summons are actually shooting through this barrier. So I can just put them down here, and often they are walking up to the barrier, the enemies, and they get hit by my summons. But the best is if I'm able to put down my summons in the choke point here, because this is what we have to. This is where we have to push them out. And as soon as we have pushed them out, it's going to be a lot easier. to walk the idols.
Give me a moment.
So put the summons down as far in front as you can without taking too much risk about being crowd controlled, and then you can fall back. I've noticed that they have a wizard on the opposite team here. He deals huge amounts of damage. So if I'm able to put the summons down a little bit into their backline, I will make it a lot more difficult for their wizard to deal damage to our guys. Now someone is coming here from behind. And the champion saved me there. It's very nice when you get that from 0 to full health, when you have a 6 kill streak. Yeah, and here it's okay to fall back. We still have 3 minutes 45 seconds, so we don't have to stress. I have to put them down in front. Yeah, it deals a lot of damage. You can see there the dots from the wizard and the grays that will interrupt the bandage. You see now they're coming there in the middle, and there are 2 of our guys who runs to the idol. They will probably get killed very fast. We don't have to stress here, and too often people are running in 1 against 4, 2 against 4, instead of waiting for the teammates, and we go in slowly together. This will be very difficult now to push. We are starting to be a little bit lower on time. I have to take some risks here and go in front here to put down some summons, because this wizard is wreaking havoc. This is also a thing. It's quite often when we try to push now in the end, a lot of people, they get a little bit stressed. And if there are any enemies on the idols, we will not be able to push the idol until the enemies are dead. So now, for example, there are okay, not now, but often there is a barbarian or a crusader standing on the idol. Then there's no point for anyone else to go and stand there, because if we have several people on the idols, it's going to be a lot easier for them to kill us as well, because they can just put AoEs on the idol. So there's really no point in standing there together, and this is a mistake that people are doing quite often. Ooh, I'm in huge trouble now. Yeah, but I got him as well. But yeah, it's super close now on time. If they continue to push on the right side, we might have a chance. Never quit pushing both sides. Almost never. Yeah, and I get caught in the backline, not playing very well. Yeah, now we're everyone on the left side. I don't think we can make it. It's gonna be difficult. I have to stay alive now because I need to put all the pressure I can here on the idol to help my teammates push. We have one last chance maybe. Okay, 20 seconds.
Still waiting.
Yeah, maybe it happens. You see? Yeah, we managed to do it. And this was only because I didn't stress, I didn't overextend and die. I knew that I had to stay alive there. It would be the only chance to make one last DPS push. And in the end we managed to win. Quite lucky, to be honest. In this next game we are playing offense again. I could maybe have run up there in the middle and poked them a little bit, but I didn't. But I'm gonna try to do it now instead. I don't want to go first. There's no need to stress here now. Can put down one summon here just to poke him, chase him out. Now I want to be able to put my summons as far up our spawn as possible. And the further in we can go, the further back we drive them. So now we drive them out to this choke point. Now once again the key is to first put down some summons here at the barrier if necessary. But if not, we can run out and put them down there in the middle. It's difficult.
I'm not ready yet.
Kinda lucky there that I didn't get caught in a stun. But you see now my summons that I put down at the barrier, they force them back just a little bit. And then we have a chance to run out, put down the summons and walk back in. And now our summons, they are outside doing tons of damage. And you can see now that we forced them away from this choke point. And the faster we can do this, the faster we can start pushing the idols instead. Now I want to try to help them activate the idols here as fast as possible. So we're done with the right side. They should be able to do it on the left side soon. Maybe I should go over there. The reason why I didn't go over there, I had to wait now for my cooldowns to be ready. So I know I'm repeating it, but map awareness, super important, but also to preserve your cooldowns and to know when to engage, because yeah, if you look on the minimap and you see okay, now it's a good time to engage, but then you don't have your skills ready, it's better to wait. And also, even if you have your skills ready, sometimes it's also better to wait, depending on what's happening on the minimap. Yeah, we have this wizard again against us, and he's on the right side, and now I'm running a little bit back and forth. I should probably have gone to the right side to try to push out that wizard because he deals so much damage. Instead I was a little bit hesitant and I started pivoting between the sides unnecessarily. So it has not been my best game so far. But now at least we have a chance to go a little bit in front. And I'm gonna go in front again here. I often put down my summons and then I run back fast, because then if they are looking at the minimap, they think it's gonna be safe because I'm not standing there, I'm far behind, so then they approach. And if it's a barbarian, yeah, good, I might trigger his Undying Rage. But also quite often, if it's a wizard or a demon hunter or even tempests, they just die from the summons because they're not ready to be attacked. And also the summons, they are shadow summons, so the enemies can't see them. They can only see the projectiles, but they can't see the summons themselves. So in order to be able to escape and know when to engage or not, you have to look carefully for these projectiles if you're playing against a summon demon hunter. And there was kind of lucky because the dot effect ended just before my immunity ended, so. So now I can put down my summons, I stand far back, one hit now and I'm dead. But I'm still doing something, thanks to my summons. But yeah, I'm feeling not super happy about the placement of both myself and where I put them down this game. A little bit sloppy, to be honest, on my part. But now is a perfect example here. Now they have a lot of people on the idol. I have no chance to fight against them, so I can only poke them and fall back. And now we should walk to this idol together, because we don't have to stress, we still have some time. Maybe we can push now, this is good. And now I fall back because there's a huge army of red dots approaching. And now you can see there are 5 red dots on this idol. But then I have all of my teammates running to the idol and standing on it. And they all wiped. Instead of being a little bit careful now, we have a melee there who will... because the enemies will all run and stand on the idol as well. Because they are also not doing it correctly. But since we did the same, my whole team wiped there, almost. We lose even more time. And now we have 38 seconds. And I guess that, yeah, maybe we will make it after all. No. And now everyone goes and stands on the idols again, you see? There are 6 people standing on the idol, and instead of falling back a little bit and wait for backup, they went and stood on the idol and died. Yeah, maybe we lose this one. It looks like it. Super important with patience. I mean, you can't be panicked in the last seconds of a game. It doesn't matter if it's offensive or defensive. It often happens in defensive games as well. You have 30 seconds to go, and then everyone runs to stand on the idol, even if you're DPS, even when you already have a barbarian or crusader standing on it. If you as a DPS go and die, and then you will be away from the game for 12 seconds, that is often the difference in those types of games. Okay, now we play defense again. Maybe I can get out. If I'm lucky, I can spam now the heal button. Yeah. That was risky of me. I should have maybe fall back a little bit earlier. But this time it worked out fine. So once again, I think you know the drill by now. Utilize this choke point, put down my summons. Oops, I accidentally used strafe there. I don't know why I wanted to run over to the other side there. I thought I could make it. But you see, one mistake and they pop my gladiator. Now my summons are at the idol, so they can't activate it and they fall back. This is what I've told you before. And you see, I'm killing them off. There are 3 people there trying to activate it. I'm full back, but I just put down a strafe summon. So they have not been able to activate it yet, you see? I also have Grace and the dots, so it took, even though I was away from there, it took another 7-8 seconds before they managed to activate. Now I'm alone here on the right side, everyone is on the left side. This is so unnecessary. Especially if you are a melee class. Sometimes maybe you are alone on your team, but if you are a couple of barbs or a couple of crusaders, you should most often split. Because yeah, it's a lot easier for you to stand on the idols when necessary. I can't really do it. I can only put down my summons there and hope to push them off. But yeah, it looks like we're able to defend this game quite well so far. Ooh, I almost got away. Once again there, I didn't fall back to our spawn. I tried to go to the middle. It was a safer route to go there. And these are the small details that can make the difference between a loss and a win. If you are just playing 10% better, if you are a little bit more aware of your surroundings, you will be able to survive a lot more. And if you can just improve a little bit on these factors, over time you will see that your results will also be better and better over time. Okay, 2 minutes to go. I think we got this game, to be honest. Yeah. I feel quite confident now that this is a win. It's never over until the fat lady sings, but this looks promising indeed. I have to say that I really like this this build right now in this meta. I always had great success with Summon Demon Hunter since I started playing it. Before there was a lot more Crusaders and a lot more Barbarians and Blood Knights, and it was a little bit more difficult to kill them. And that could be an issue with the Summon Demon Hunter in some games. But now with the Tempest meta, I think that it works extremely well, because the Tempest is quite squishy when he takes damage. So I'm very confident that this is probably one of the best options right now for Demon Hunter in PvP. You have to practice a lot to perfect it. Remember this thumb rule, always try to look 95% on the minimap. So if you learn how to play by watching the minimap instead of watching it on the battleground, you will be able to perform a lot better. And then when you have learned how to have great map awareness, then you can practice on what you should do in different situations, because sometimes sometimes it's right to push, sometimes it's not right to push, and this is something that you will learn over time the more you play. So after some time you would do it instinctively. So yeah, but this was this battleground session, and I really hope that you like this build, and if you try it out, I hope you have great success with it. If you have any questions about the build or anything else, please let me know in the comments. And I hope that you enjoyed this type of content, and if you did, please subscribe to my channel. And until next time, I would like to wish you a very nice day or a very nice evening wherever you are. And of course, to all of my clan members in Nyx, I would also like to say Voruk Nyx, Sholak Sol. So, bye bye!